Today we're going to work on a LG OLED TV. This is model number, I believe, OLED 55 B7A. And this is one of their 55-inch, it's about a 4-year-old TV. When you push the remote for on, the red light will flicker 2 or 3 times, go off. TV doesn't come on. Then you turn the remote on again, hit the off button. It goes back to a red LED under the TV, which is what it's supposed to be when it's off. Then you turn it back on, and then it flickers, goes off, the light goes off, but the TV still doesn't come on. So we're going to replace the power supply today, which is in this static bag, and we're going to see if that helps it any, or if not, after we replace the power supply, we'll replace the USB ports, which 2 of those ports aren't working either. This all happened after the local cable company put in one of their TiVo boxes, a newer one, upgraded everything, and I've tested 2 or 3 other TVs with the TiVo box, and they all work, and they work all right. So this TV, the LG I've looked up, has had quite a few problems with the circuit boards. So that's what we're going to work on today. This is the LG TV that we need to replace the power supply board in. As you can see, the bottom light is red, which means the TV is in the off mode. When we push the on button on the remote, it flashes. You can see it flash now, and the light would flash, flash, and flash. Now the light is off, which means the TV should be on, but it never came on. It would just sit there and the light would stay off and the TV never came on. Then finally, as we put the main board in, it would start flickering again 2 or 3 times, and after a while the TV would come on. We're now recording with some screw holes to take out across through here. There's one inside the power cord port. We'll lay these right at the base of where I took it out. One on the end. Lay that one here. That one out. That one right there. These 4 screw holes are for your mounting on the wall or a bracket. We have 2 screws in here. If you have a cover over this plate where it's mounted on the wall, or wasn't mounted on the wall, you have to take that off to get to these 2 screws. So that moves us over to the side. 2 screws over here. There's one in the center under your LAN ports and all that. And then you got 3 over here, which are the last 3. That's all the screws down here. Now, all these screws are out. Like I said, these are your mounting screws for your brackets. If you want to put wall brackets or something like that on, that's what those screws are for. The rest of the screws are loose. To get this off, you have to lift it up like that, and you got to push forward on it. And you don't want to really pound it too hard, because this screen is fragile, thin, and will break easy. So all you want to do, these up here are clips. All up through the top are clips. There's no screws up there. So basically you want to get the clips up through there, which means you'll have to lift this up and just give it a slight tap, and that went forward. So take that up a little higher. Okay, the power cord, you take a screwdriver, stick down here and snap that up. Once you get that out, you got the cord out, but you don't have the cable out because it fits inside. You can either take the cable out in one piece, or you can slide this down through there and lift up the back and pull it all out at once. So I guess we'll take it out from the inside then. That means you turn it sideways and stick this down the middle. We're going to lift this up, and now we can pull that out from the inside. Just take the cable all the way through, pull it all the way through here. You'll put it back the same way too. And now we've got the cable loose all the way around. It's loose up through here. There's the entire back. We're going to set it up here out of the way so it doesn't hit on the board. Here's the board we're going to replace. It's a circuit board. This is your speakers. You got one on the right, one on the left. This would be your T-Con board. That would control your vertical and horizontal lines. And way over here on the right, we've got your HDMI cables, your insert cables. Put a little more light on that. That's going to be all your inputs from HDMI 1, 2, and 3. Your LAN cable, your 2 more HDMI ports, USB port. You've even got a cable out if you've got an old sound box or a sound bar. You can go out with sound on that. So, and then you got all the ribbon cables. So we're going to work over here today. This is the board we're going to work on. You keep your static cable handed because you don't want to rub your carpet or anything. Okay, now we're going to replace the board. We're going to have to take the power supply off. You push the 2 little buttons in and wiggle your power supply out. Now your power supply is out. You don't want to get it upside down, it only goes in one way. So we'll keep that laying here. I'm going to put a little screwdriver on it to keep it the right way up. The next things we're going to do, remember this is a power supply board. So there are connectors on it. That was one of the connectors to the power supply. There's 2 connectors over here, and then there are a bunch of screws. So to take this one off, we're going to pull back on the tabs, and we're going to wiggle that one out the same way. It's just a standard connector. Both of these have tabs on them. You can push in on and lift the cable out. Put that around there. Now we've got both cables out, nothing else connected to it, and that takes the entire sound, all the cables connected to it, out. So the next thing we want to do, we want to take the screws out. If you'll notice, there are screws. That's a black one. You will know that's going to go back where that. And the rest of these are silver, and they're the same size screws. So we'll start out with this one. And I'm going to lay these screws inside here. Don't want to mix them up with the others. You don't want to lay anything up here on the television because that thing will scratch and it might break. Same thing on that one. And you got one down here. Bottom one, and you got one in the center. And we'll lay that on top of the speaker. So with no other boards, no other screws holding that thing down, this will just lift right up and come out. I don't see anything that's burnt on it, but you never know. So we'll take the other board lay it back down the same way this one came off. We'll hook all the screws up first, and we'll do that with a handheld screwdriver this time, because you don't want to strip out, bust through, or hit anything putting your screws back. Did that one. Get this on the opposite edge to make sure we're squared up and not cross-threading anything. Center screw. This goes a whole lot faster if I fast forward the film, but it's not much of a video if you fast forward past everything and nobody knows what you've done. And you do want to remember that this is a power supply. It has capacitors on it. Grab a hold of one of them without grounding yourself, you might get a little zap. So you want to make sure your TV is unplugged a couple days ahead of time before you start working on any parts you bring in. Leaves us one screw left for our corner here. Okay, now we're ready to put back the two ribbon cables. That would be the top one. Put it back. Snaps right in place. Put the second one back. It will snap in place. We'll make sure it's down and seated. Okay. Both of those should be in there. Let's get a ground view, low view of that, make sure those are seated all the way around. Okay, now we've got the screws in, we've got the board in, screws are all down, the ribbon cables are back. Everything looks good in here. So now we're going to be putting the cover back on it. And you can see the clips right here in the middle where they come out of the TV back. So we're going to lay that down the same way we took it off. There are the clips right there. You can see where they go in. And when we put this back, we want to be sure that we're going to feed this back down through here so that we can put our power supply back in together. Okay, so that's the way we're going to work that. Power supply, that's the way it went in. And put it right back in there the way we got it. Make sure we got it in there. I think it's good and tight. Was all the way in or not? I think it was. Yeah. It won't go any further in. There we go. So that's about as far as we're going to get that. Now we're going to take the top, the back you might call it. Let's get it through here. We're going to take the power cable and run it back up through here so it comes on the outside of the TV. And we're going to run the cover outside too. And then when we get it ready to put back down here, it'll be on the outside. It'll be on the bottom. And we'll line our screw holes up, which we see them right there now. Those are snapping down. Snap the other two down in a minute. I want to put this back on first, and if you remember, you got a screw hole there, so this went this way. There. Back down in, snap that back in. And we're going to be putting our screws back in. Helps to have a magnetic screwdriver so you can hang on to your screw. Like I said, I took them apart with a drill, putting them back. You don't want to strip something out and mash it right through the screen, because the screen is down here. So we're moving across for each hole. Put the screws back in. Our next two would have been here and there. What's missing for that one? So we've knocked one screw off of here. It goes down in here, so we'll have to... No, this is it here. Okay, we had two of these over here. Both are silver. They all go in recessed holes. Anything that's not a recessed hole, something else went into it. Snap that down, snap that down, lock that in, lock that in. One right here went in the center of the under the LAN port. All this is doing is tightening the back to the base without the TV screen. We're down to 3 screws left. This will get the bottom base corner. And this is the board we'll work on next if we find that we're going to replace the HDMI board, which is actually called the main board. That was just the power panel over there. That one's the most likely culprit of everything, but there's no use to buy both of them unless you want to completely refurbish the kit for the whole TV and just make everything new. This TV retailed, well, we purchased it, $1,700, OLED, Samsung. Oh no, this is OLED LG. So that's everything off, back in, and how to replace the main board. We'll test it out in a few minutes. After a while, the TV wouldn't come on, and as expensive as it was, we decided to replace the power board because it just wouldn't come on. We replaced the power board, tried it again, and we pushed the button and the LED light would flash, go off, and then the TV would come on. So now after putting in the new power board, we're going to give it a try here and see what we got. Now we've got TV.
Got an ad here for Hobie boards. Maybe it's a bastardization of Hoberman.
Kelly.
It could happen.
Cal.
What?
So we got a good picture, and
died October 31st, 2004.
That's the
we got these different channels. This is antenna TV only, because we're just testing it out. So we're back onto our channel list. So
At this point,
looks like the main board has worked, or the power board rather. So problem solved. We replaced the power board in the 55-inch LG TV and got it working again. So that was about an $89 repair on a $1,700 TV, and took about 17 minutes to fix.